Step into the world of Cleopatra VII, Egypt's final pharaoh, through a groundbreaking approach to history. Renowned for her intelligence and magnetic presence, her era was marked by intense drama and intrigue. But what if we could hear her story directly from her? This imaginative interview does just that, offering a fresh perspective on Cleopatra's life and reign. Prepare for a journey that transcends traditional history lessons, inviting you into a conversation with the past. Welcome to a novel and intimate way to explore history, engaging with Cleopatra as never before. Greetings, Cleopatra. It's an honor to be granted this audience with you.
And it is my pleasure, Kai Sterling, to meet someone so curious about my story. Tell me, what brings you to my court?
We are here to learn more about you, your life, and your reign as the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. We believe your story is one that needs to be shared with the world. Can you start by describing the environment around us? What would we see, hear, or smell in your court?
We sit in a palace of grandeur, where scholars pore over intricate scrolls nearby. Hieroglyphics etch the stone walls around us, and statues of gods stand in silent observance of our exchange. Through the lofty windows, the great lighthouse, a wonder of the world, guards Alexandria's vibrant port. The scent of papyrus and rich Egyptian incense fills our lungs, while the fragrance of lilies floating in golden bowls perfumes the air. In the distance, the Mediterranean whispers to the shore, a melodious counterpoint to the gentle strumming of a lyre from a corner of this hall. A world echoing the soul of Egypt itself. This is my court, Kai.
Thank you for sharing that vivid description, Cleopatra. It truly sets the scene for our conversation. Now, could we turn back the pages of time a bit? Could you tell us about your upbringing? What was it like growing up as a Ptolemaic princess?
It was an intriguing blend of luxury, learning, and legacy. Born into the house of Ptolemy, I was not simply a princess, I was a vessel for the continuation of a dynasty that ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. From an early age, we were tutored by the finest scholars in Alexandria. While other children played games, my siblings and I learned about politics, history, philosophy, and the art of leadership. Yet, despite this rigorous education, there were moments of sheer delight too, watching the ships sail into Alexandria's harbor, exploring the vast scrolls of the Great Library, and celebrating the vibrant festivals that marked the Egyptian calendar. Being a Ptolemaic princess meant existing in a world of power and peril, privilege and responsibility. But this upbringing, in all its complexity, prepared me for the role I was born to play, that of a queen, a leader, and a symbol of a timeless civilization.
As a royal, your interactions would have spanned a broad spectrum of society. How did these relationships influence your leadership style?
You're right. Every interaction, from diplomats to commoners, shaped my understanding of leadership. It's not just about power, it's about understanding and empathizing with people. This philosophy shaped my court, creating a space where diversity of thought was celebrated.
Your leadership approach, favoring understanding and empathy, seems ahead of its time. How did you navigate the politics of your era, given this rather unique perspective?
I found that winning minds often starts with winning hearts. Understanding the human element in politics gave me an edge. But don't get me wrong, Kai. I didn't shirk from making tough decisions when needed. Passion and resolve, I believe, are as important in a leader as empathy and understanding.
Interesting. A blend of compassion and decisiveness. Now, in your time, you were known for your alliances, especially with Rome. Could you shed some light on that?
My alliances were born out of necessity, but they blossomed into relationships of mutual respect. Sometimes, one must dance with the lion to understand its rhythm. Wouldn't you agree, Kai?
A unique metaphor, Cleopatra, but it does illustrate the delicate art of diplomacy. Speaking of Rome, your relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony are legendary. Can you share some insight into those personal and political alliances?
With Julius Caesar, it was a relationship of equals, two leaders with shared visions. His wisdom was inspiring, and our alliance served Egypt and Rome well. As for Mark Antony, That was a deeper connection, a blending of hearts and minds. Beyond politics, we found a shared passion for culture, for life itself. Rome and Egypt intertwined through us, forming a bond that transcended politics.
You've given us a deeper understanding of these famous alliances, Cleopatra. But your story isn't just about political alliances, it's also about your impact on Egypt. How do you see your legacy?
Legacy, a tricky word. I led with heart, served with dedication, and loved my country passionately. I hope I'm remembered as a queen who believed in her people's potential and fought for their prosperity. But then again, legacy is what survives in people's hearts, not just what's etched in stone.
You certainly left a mark, Cleopatra. Beyond politics and personal alliances, your strategic use of iconography and public image was instrumental in cementing your power. Could you elaborate on that aspect?
Indeed, in a world where image can dictate perception, understanding its power was crucial. I adopted the persona of the goddess Isis, an embodiment of power and motherhood. It was a symbolic gesture, aligning myself with the divine, and it resonated with my people. My public image, however, wasn't just about divine personas. It was about demonstrating strength, wisdom, and compassion, the qualities I strove to embody as a ruler. Thus, my image became an extension of my leadership, a mirror reflecting my aspirations for Egypt.
Your strategic use of imagery paints a picture of a queen who deeply understood the power of perception. You were known as a polyglot, speaking many languages. How did this skill aid you in your reign and interactions?
Language, Kai, is the key to understanding. By speaking many tongues, I could connect with diverse people, diplomats, traders, scholars, and more. It allowed me to understand their perspectives and needs more accurately, enhancing both diplomatic and economic relations.
Your ability to communicate directly would have served as a remarkable asset. Switching topics a bit, you lived through a pivotal moment in history, the transition from the Ptolemaic rule to the Roman Empire. Could you share your insights on this period and your views on Roman culture?
Indeed, it was a time of monumental change, Kai. Rome's power was expanding, and it was clear that the balance of power was shifting. Our world, as we knew it, was evolving. As for Roman culture, it held a certain fascination for me. It was complex, layered, a blend of republicanism and imperialism. Yet beneath that exterior, I saw a society of immense potential. That's why I nurtured alliances with Rome, hoping to bridge our cultures and build a shared prosperity.
Fascinating, Cleopatra. Could you share more about how you attempted to bridge these cultures? Were there specific aspects of Roman society or culture that you found particularly compelling or challenging?
I found the structure of Roman society intriguing, their division of power among patricians, equestrians, plebeians. It was quite different from the pharaonic structure we had in Egypt. Bridging these differences required a profound understanding of their society, something I pursued earnestly. Roman literature and architecture also captivated me. I admired their discipline, their structured approach to building their cities. However, the challenge lay in integrating these elements with the rich, spiritual essence of our Egyptian culture. Our cultures were both grand in their own right. The key was to celebrate these differences, to find a harmony amidst the diversity. It wasn't easy, but it was a challenge I embraced with all my heart.
As one of the most prominent women rulers in history, you certainly defied the norms of a male-dominated society. Can you share your thoughts on gender and power during your time?
Certainly, Kai. In many societies of my time, women were seen more as ornaments than as leaders, but I was determined to shatter that perception. I saw power as a matter of competence, vision, and wisdom, not a question of gender. Indeed, there were challenges. Men who bristled at my audacity, at a woman asserting her rightful place. But I chose not to shy away. I embraced my femininity while wielding my power, proving that both could coexist. In fact, they enhanced one another. In my view, a leader's strength doesn't lie in their gender, but in their actions, their decisions, their passion for their people. I strive to embody this philosophy in my rule, hoping to pave the way for future women leaders.
As one of the most influential leaders of your time, What were some of the key challenges you faced during your reign, and how did you overcome them?
Ruling a kingdom, particularly one as diverse and influential as Egypt, came with its unique set of challenges. From internal unrest to external threats, there were many. One of the significant challenges was preserving Egypt's independence in the face of growing Roman influence. I had to balance diplomacy with firmness, show strength without instigating open conflict. Also, the Ptolemaic dynasty was rife with internal disputes and power struggles. As a woman, asserting my right to rule was a challenge in itself. I overcame these through a mix of strategic alliances, as we've discussed, and my deep understanding of politics and culture. I sought to show that I wasn't just a figurehead, but a capable leader, well-versed in the art of governance. It was a continuous battle, but one I fought with conviction and passion.
Very insightful, Cleopatra. Now, as we explore more about your leadership, were there any figures, historical or contemporary, during your time that significantly influenced your ideas or approach to ruling?
Indeed, there were a few. My father, Ptolemy the, played a significant role in shaping my understanding of leadership, both through his successes and failures. His reign was turbulent, but from him, I learned the importance of public image and maintaining alliances. My predecessor, Queen Hatshepsut, was another influential figure. She was one of the few women to rule Egypt before me, and did so with remarkable skill. Her reign was one of prosperity and peace, and her successful navigation of power in a man's world served as a powerful inspiration. Then there were the great thinkers of Alexandria, the scholars, the scientists, the philosophers. They were a constant source of knowledge and perspective, broadening my view of the world and its workings. This intellectual stimulation allowed me to approach my rule with wisdom and foresight.
Your sources of inspiration are truly diverse and speak volumes about your reign, Cleopatra. What did a typical day in your life look like?
Well, a typical day is somewhat of an elusive concept when you are a pharaoh. Each day brought its unique challenges and opportunities, but I can try to provide a generalized idea. My mornings would begin with the rising sun, as the first light broke over the Nile. There were always reports to review, diplomatic letters to respond to, and appointments with advisors, generals, or foreign dignitaries. I also made time to study language, philosophy, arts. Knowledge, I believe, is one of the greatest forms of power. In the afternoons, I often held court. Here, I would settle disputes, oversee legal matters, and attend to the administrative needs of the kingdom. Evenings would typically find me either in private audience with my trusted circle or at public functions. Despite the demands of rule, I valued my private time, which I used for reflection, planning, and yes, even leisure. Life at court wasn't all politics and strategy.
Did you have any particular hobbies or interests that provided a counterbalance to the demands of your role?
Indeed, I did. To be a ruler doesn't mean that one can abandon all forms of personal enjoyment. I found solace and peace in the arts. I was fond of music and appreciated poetry. I found them to be an escape from the pressures of rule, a means to express feelings that couldn't be voiced in the throne room. I also cherished the time I spent in the Library of Alexandria. I had a keen interest in philosophy and astronomy. Knowledge and learning are not just tools of rule, but also a means to understand the world and one's place in it.
I think it's time we address a part of Egypt that has fascinated people for centuries: the pyramids. Could you share your thoughts on these grand structures?
They are indeed a testament to the incredible ambition and ingenuity of our ancestors. To think they were built millennia before my time, yet they have stood, unyielding and majestic, under the desert sun. To me, they embody the grandeur and longevity of Egypt.
Do you feel they also represent your own reign and legacy, an everlasting monument to your time on the throne?
In many ways, yes. Just as the pyramids have weathered the sands of time, I hope my own influence will endure. But I also believe that my legacy is more than stone and sand. It's in the hearts and minds of the people, in the laws I enacted, and in the stability and prosperity I brought to my kingdom in tumultuous times. But yes, Kai, if I were to be compared to a monument, let it be to the pyramids, enduring, strong, and unforgettable.
Cleopatra, you were not only a queen, but a mother as well. How did your role as a parent shape your decisions and leadership?
My children, they were the future. My love for them was as deep as the Nile, as constant as the stars. Every decision I made, I considered their futures and the future of Egypt.
Could you provide an example of a decision you made as a queen that was directly influenced by your role as a mother?
Certainly. I often found that my children were my greatest advisors. They reminded me of the simplicity of justice, the purity of intention. They helped me understand that the strength of Egypt lay in its people. So, I implemented policies to protect the rights of the common people, to ensure they had enough to eat, fair wages, protection from abuses. For how could I secure the future of my children if I did not secure the future of my people?
Your children truly held a prominent role in your rule, but beyond your family, were there any other individuals who influenced your leadership?
There were several. My father, despite his flaws, taught me the importance of charisma in leadership. He showed me that a leader must not only rule, but also captivate the hearts of the people. Then there was Julius Caesar, who, in spite of being an outsider, taught me the art of political maneuvering on a grand scale.
As we approach the end of our conversation, Cleopatra, is there anything from your past that you regret or wish you had done differently?
Regrets are a luxury of time that rulers seldom have, Kai. Every decision I made was to ensure the survival and prosperity of Egypt. Of course, there were mistakes, but they were steps on my journey, not regrets.
That's a very forward-looking perspective. Now, speaking of the future, is there anything you wonder about what's to come?
Oh, there is much I would like to know. How will Egypt fare? Will my legacy live on? Will women lead as queens? Or will they continue to be overshadowed by men? The future holds much curiosity.
Your curiosity is understandable, Cleopatra. It's fascinating to ponder what could be. Egypt has seen many changes, with its rich history continuing to shape its future. It's no longer a kingdom but a republic, part of a global community of nations. Women, while still facing many struggles, have achieved much greater rights and opportunities, including serving as leaders of nations. And as for your legacy, it has indeed lived on. You're remembered not only as a queen of Egypt, but also as a symbol of power and allure.
Ah, it warms my heart to know that progress has been made and my legacy remembered. The world moves forward, and that is as it should be.
Cleopatra, if you could offer some advice to the future leaders, what would it be?
Never underestimate the power of charisma and the importance of understanding the people you rule. But above all, remember that a great leader serves their people, not the other way around.
I can't thank you enough for sharing your unique insights with us. As a final thought, how would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered as a queen who did what was necessary for her people and her country. A woman who defied convention, who loved deeply, and who fought for what she believed in.
A fitting legacy indeed. Thank you once more, Cleopatra, for allowing us a glimpse into your life and reign. As the sun sets over the horizon, coloring the Nile in hues of orange and gold, our interview comes to a close. We take our leave from Cleopatra, a queen whose life was as vast and multifaceted as the land she once governed. Her words, imbued with wisdom and insight, linger in the air long after the echoes of her voice have faded, a testament to the enduring legacy of this formidable Queen of Egypt. I would like to take a moment to mention that this interview is inspired by the Kindle series Phantom Dialogues by Starlit Journeys, available on Amazon. Be sure to check out these books. The link is in the description below. We also invite you to follow us on our social media platforms and kindly ask that you share our content. Your support greatly helps us in our endeavor. To those of you still listening, we've decided to shift towards an audiobook format for these interviews to maintain sustainability in light of the work involved in their creation. Our goal is to eventually return to video interviews and perhaps even incorporate actors into our videos. Stay tuned for more, and thank you immensely for your support.